Welcome to the One More Rep podcast where you take it beyond the barbell. I am your host, Mo Dingo, and with me is Brody. Bro, what's up, man?
I don't know what to say.
Wait, hold on. You jacked me up last episode because I didn't let you do your intro. So now I give you the opportunity to do your intro.
It caught me off guard.
Caught you off guard. Well, well, first off, we don't have beer right now.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten a lot today, so probably having a beverage while we're doing this show. Probably.
Oh, we'll get him one. It caught me off guard because first off, it was like a very energetic
intro.
And I'm barely cruising along today. I'm just like really tired. And then you come out of nowhere. I haven't been introduced I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes. Been more concerned about the beer. But hey, how's it going?
It's going
Hi,
swell.
Mo. I'm here.
So you got a big event planned here shortly with the XS family.
Yeah, I can't wait. Just finished that. It took me about 90 minutes. It's the longest heat schedule I've ever had to put together.
And it involves no barbells. What are there weights?
Yep.
Dumbbells?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we have dumbbells, kettlebells, sleds, sandbags we're doing a lot of people of our gym here are avid gun owners and shooters, and
slam.
Were you born in a barn?
a long time ago I wanted to do something with we have 2 members here who own Old English gun shop.
Can you just make all the noise you can possibly make?
Tip City
I'll
area.
give you like another
They come
3
to our
minutes.
gym, and Evan's one of our trainers, and I wanted to. I started working
just make
one-on-one
all the
with
noise.
the person they use.
This is
for
why she's the photographer.
All their defensive training for firearms, and I wanted to work my concealed stuff. And then after I worked with him for a bit, I wanted to do an event for our gym, but make it a CrossFit / shooting event. And so we have 10 people doing it. We had around 15, but schedules conflicted. So we have 10 people going through it, and it's about, I think the first heat starts at 12:45, and I think we end at 6 p.m. That day, and we're shooting 600 rounds total. We have stress and no stress workouts involved, and we'll definitely do some video, but I tell you, the mixing an assault bike at like 20, 25, and 30 cals, and then doing a drill after it that requires mental, you have a lot of mental capacity, accuracy, and motor control.
While you're tired?
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
When we tested it, make sure everything was safe, right? Firearms and like highly elevated heart rate. Yeah. It was funny how no stress, we'd shoot it clean because there's 2 mag changes, and you have to move off the X on the mag change. You have a specific amount of bullets in each magazine, and you have to put certain rounds in a hole in a circle. Yeah. But the memory part is sometimes you have to come back to that circle after you reload.
Oh, the order of fire.
And, yes.
Okay.
So it's 1 through 6.
Yeah.
And they're randomly put on the sheet, and you have to move off the X while you're reloading. You got to remember your round count that you have to put in there. It was no problem, like fresh.
but after you did some assault bike.
Yeah, max effort bike. The reloads were sloppy. Dean was not
magazines
coming
everywhere. Yeah,
we weren't dropping, but they were just weren't. They weren't fast and crisp. And Dean wasn't moving off the X. I lost my shot count, and it didn't help. My very first bullet I fire was a misfire.
So
I eject a round, but I had to have it to complete.
Account for it.
Yeah, because I needed 21 rounds. That's all I have.
Yeah.
So I'm pissed because now I need that bullets on the ground, but I can't use it. But no, it's cool. I'm excited. Get to hang out with the people for a while, and then shooting guns all day. What the hell?
A little something outside the gym just to have some more family
and
time.
It's competition. We have we have trophies. They don't know this yet, but we have Top Gun.
Okay.
And then we have the Worst Shot trophy. So I'm not winning that one. So yeah, but it's going to be a scored event.
So speaking of trophies, didn't you win a trophy this weekend? Actually, you guys pretty much swept the
40
competition.
Mike round, baby.
Pretty much swept the competition, right?
Nah, I wouldn't. I don't like saying that. It was a good time. Mo had his event, and we were able to support it. Usually, it runs the same day as
Aaron's competition over
at Endeavor,
yeah.
and we've done that every year since it's been in existence. And so this year it didn't happen. I was pretty pumped. Even though we had 3 straight weekends of competing, we were able to go do that. And, it's an outdoor event, and I think that's the only one around in the area, which is it's cool. And they did a really good job. It ran smooth. It was really hot out, but it didn't factor in too much because they have most of it was under a very large tent.
That's something I took feedback from the very first time I did that. So it's been under a tent ever since.
Yeah, if there was no tent, it'd have been
brutal.
It would have been miserable to be out there all day. But yeah, we sent a scaled women's team, RX women's team of 2, and then I was on the men's RX team of 2, and we did well. But I was really excited about our scaled women.
Yeah,
and especially Jamie. She listens to the show a lot. When she first started CrossFit, she was the most insecure, and she just wasn't very confident in herself. And then and we talked about in these episodes, you can see that switch flip in your members, and they start getting a swagger, and they start getting confident and things like that. And it was great to see them push the limits of their fitness, because in here you can sometimes you try to settle in. We're a lot heavier in here than what scaled most scaled is. Yeah, just like the deadlift was at I think 65 pounds, but it was 50.
Yeah,
and they were going to their game plan was to do 15, and then try to break it up. And I said, Jamie, you're doing 50 unbroken. She's like, what? And what she do? She did 50 unbroken, no problem. But it was cool to watch their when they won. The excitement level that they had was really special to me.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool for me to. The guys at 3G Tactical, they went out of their way to help me throw this event every year. But this year, we actually had trophies that were 40 millimeter shells that had our logo on it and told you what division you were in. So that was really cool to hand out.
Yeah, they're on our got them on our shelf out there. And then got to shoot the big 50 cal Barrett, baby.
Yeah,
it was pretty pumped about that.
Also, when you win your division, you get to fire 50 cal. So that's something not everybody gets to experience.
No, I was more excited to watch the ladies shoot it. It was Jenna's first gun ever.
Yeah, that's the first weapon you ever fired, Jenna?
Yep. So, except for these babies. She's flexing.
Yeah, she's flexing, yes.
But to see for that to be her first gun, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of guys want to shoot that
in a lifetime.
In a lifetime, and then she gets to shoot as her first gun.
Yeah, for my wife, Melissa, that was the first weapon she ever fired to was a Barrett. Yeah, so that was pretty cool to be part of that.
Really, just makes you want to just
go buy one
and shoot the shit out of it. Start blowing up cars.
So, have a little surprise for you, Brody. You will be happy to know that we have added Michigan to our our listenership. And,
Michigan! Yeah. I'm trying to think who it is.
Actually, a guy I used to work with, Michael Keeley, up in Alaska. He actually he's not a CrossFitter, but he listens to our show.
Oh,
him and Ryan Marshall, 2 guys I used to work with in the past.
Yeah,
and I guess Mike got tired of hearing us talk about how no one listens in Michigan, so he told his friends down in Michigan because that's where he's from, and that's where we got our first draw from. So thanks a lot, Mike. We really appreciate it.
That's awesome, Michigan. You're finally off the.
You're off the hook.
You're off the list. Now who's next? Who we got to call next?
We still got.
We got China yet?
No, nothing in China.
Dang it. We got Japan.
Yeah, we did get Japan.
What's up, China? Japan's got it up on you.
What's up, Issei? We even have South Korea, and then. What is it? I think it's Rhode Island.
Hey, maybe we'll get North Korea now that everything's going.
Now everything's chill.
Now
right?
that they're going to get internet finally.
Yeah, we got Nebraska and Mississippi, and I think we'll be good after that.
Only 2 more states?
2 or 3. I have to double check,
man.
But we're getting there.
How many countries do we need to get world dominance?
To world domination, I don't know. Some of them might not have a podcast capability, but we're getting there.
All right, so we basically need everybody in the world to listen to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get on it, listeners.
Thanks.
So we really appreciate all the feedback we got for the
It's all about you.
Yeah,
the call to action
was
cool.
Where we told you guys to send us a workout. We're gonna draw those later on, and we'll figure out which workout we're gonna do. But
those.
Oh, just one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better watch what you say, Mo.
Some of them were pretty interesting, and there's actually one that I want to try, even if we don't pick it, and I'll tell you about that one later. But this week's episode, kind of piggybacking off of episode 28, where we talked about ownership versus a hobbyist. Some of the things we talked about were a lot of culture related. Mm-hmm. And some of those things Brody and I have identified that culture is established by the ownership.
Should be.
It should be. but it's carried on through the actual members.
Should be.
So today what we want to talk about is member responsibilities, your roles in the community.
Yeah, I mean, to even go back a second, I woke up the day after we released that episode about being an owner or hobbyist, and wake up to a really long message from one of the listeners, man. And I mean, it really hit home to him. I got a couple other direct messages about how they could really, they see that in their gym, and it's frustrating because when you're a community, and it kind of actually ties into this topic, when you're a community, you need a direction. You need a leader, and it should be the owner. And then when they're not stepping up, or they have other concerns, as it could be, they're more concerned about them and their progression, and them and their workout. Or like someone said to me, there should be a third category where the owners just care about money, and you can't. The money is part of a.
It's a necessary evil.
You have to have it, right?
Yeah, like obviously. You said, part of why you open this is to make money.
You want to make. Yeah. But like anything. You can focus too much on the financial side, and then you start forgetting that little stuff, and then your community kind of gets mad, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not all about the money. It should be about the community, and then that will help you grow money. And when you start forgetting the little things, the community starts taking notice. And I honestly, what I usually see is those communities, they don't disband. They stay together, and then they start their own gym. That's exactly what happens.
And after the bubble that we talked about in the last episode, you started to see at the tail end of that bubble, as gyms started to close, that certain gyms were starting because groups within those gyms were starting their own communities because they had certain expectations that weren't being met. So they, instead of waiting for it to occur, they went and did it themselves. Or
was met at one point in time, and then the owners got away from it, and they, made a post about this last episode about how they switched ownerships of their gym, and their community had to really stick together because they wanted to keep what they loved about the last gym owner. Because when you switch owners, it could literally shake up your entire gym.
Yeah, because every owner has a different personality.
Right. And
the name might be the same, but the individuals who are now the leaders are generally going to be completely different.
Yeah, so ties into this episode pretty good.
The first thing I want to cover from a member or athlete perspective, one of the things that I think you need to do when new people just walk into your gym is just do something really simple by saying hi or greeting them. I mentioned this in the last episode. There's been multiple times when I've dropped into gyms because I travel a lot, and everybody just stares at me. And I'm like, hey, is there a coach here? Can I talk to someone? And they're like, and then it seems like a struggle to try and get, for lack of a better term, attention.
Yeah.
That's just not something that I let happen at my gym. Again, I'm not an owner. I'm a coach and an athlete.
Not yet.
But I take the responsibility that this is my gym. This is my second home. And I want people to feel welcome when they come in. And if you just stare at people, that's kind of off-putting. To me, at least it is.
Yeah. Like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, I CrossFit. Like, you know what I mean? Actually, it just happened in Florida. Was down there, worked out a couple of days, and owner, no problem. Two of the coaches, no problem. But their competitive athletes, like they would walk right past us and not even. They just kind of stare and like wouldn't say anything,
like sizing you up.
I'm like, I ain't like. Bro, I just want to.
I'm on vacation, bro. I'm trying to get.
But anyway,
trying to work off this cheesecake from last night.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird because when you have owner and trainers who are very outgoing, and then some of their competitors like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, but it was nothing like that. And like we don't allow that to happen here. If our competitors did what happened to us, they would have. There'd be a shitstorm.
Yeah, you'd have a little discussion with them,
a major discussion. But none of our people would ever do that because it's just not. They know. First off, they were in their shoes at one point in time, and they know how it feels to walk into a gym. It can be intimidating, right? And then Jenna and others do a great job of. It helps me if I'm coaching class. Like I'll go to acknowledge them, but it helps me if they're really talking to them and they're not like wandering around like aimlessly looking around. So
an example that. It happened yesterday while I was working out. I was coaching the next class, but we were getting ready to start our workout, and just some stranger walked in, and I pointed to my coach. I was like, hey, gave her the timeout symbol, and I just walked over and took care of that new person because everybody else was occupied. We had a kids class going. The next class was kind of just getting set up, but I was like, no, okay, hold on. I'll jump in a couple minutes, but I'm going to go take care of this person because I just don't think it's a good first impression. Just greeting people, even people that have been in your community for a while, just, say hi, it's polite. But at the same time, some people are just quiet, and you kind of learn those personalities. They're not necessarily super outgoing or kind of mildly introverted. But, just a simple acknowledgement, a head nod or whatever. Or,
yeah, it's not hard.
It doesn't, smile even. And I really noticed this phenomenon about physical acknowledgement, not necessarily verbal. This one hospital I used to work at, they had a policy, and they call it their 5-10 rule. If someone was 10 foot away, you had to either nod or wave or whatever. And if you were 5 feet away, you actually had to say something to them. And when I first started working, I was like, man, this is corny. But then once I started working there and I saw people doing it and people would acknowledge me and say hi to me, it really actually made me feel better about working at that hospital. Cause man, everybody's friendly. I mean, even though it was kind of policy, it was still nice to have people acknowledge you just in the halls instead of just walking by, maybe looking at their cell phones or just trying to act like you're not there. So,
yeah. And I'm going to actually piggyback onto that. So we have one of our members, Oliver, he's in Columbus right now, and he's working at a gym over there. And while he has an intern over the summer, he goes to University of Dayton. He's going into his senior year, and so we talk back and forth. And here at our gym, if you're done with the workout and people are still working out, you do not touch your equipment. You don't put anything away. You wait until the last person's done working out out of respect to them, and you cheer them on and push them. And so he messaged me, and he's like, "Yeah, everybody here is just it's just weird because." They finish and then they start putting all their stuff away. And he said, then I was just sitting there on my weights one day, and I wouldn't put my stuff away. And I was just really cheering them on, encouraging them. The people were still working out while other people were still putting their stuff away. Well, he's like, after class, a couple of them came up to me and said how much they really appreciated me waiting to put my stuff away until they were finished. So fast forward 2 weeks, he's calling it the Brody effect. I'm like, that's so dumb. Because in all honesty, it's what we do here, but he took that over there, and now every single person does that. And I think it's great that he's taking something and planted a seed into another community and maybe showed them like, hey, everybody is important. Like, yeah, maybe you did go fast and you did do well. Show the respect to your athletes and your members and who you should be calling your friends, and wait to put your stuff away and push them and cheer them on, because guess what? There was a point in time when you weren't finishing first, and you don't want everybody just ignoring you. I mean, some people don't like to be cheered to, like we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
but it's just a respect. And I thought that was really cool. Ollie put that culture inside the culture.
Yeah, and that's one of the other points I had on here was being mindful. Don't start putting up your gear while other people are working out. I mean, there are some times when you're on a time crunch, and I have certain athletes that do that. Like, hey, I have to leave at 6 o'clock, so I'm going to start putting my gear up and head out. And, we work that out beforehand. But, don't go just walking off, putting your gear up, because just, like you just said, Brody, everybody was at that point at some time in their career.
But yeah, I think it's just a lot of gyms do it, to be honest with you, and it's very disrespectful to remaining people, and it's like you just don't give two craps about what they're doing and them really doing work, right? And I think if you have it talked out, here if they need to leave, I say leave your equipment. I'll put it up, if you really have to go, I'll take care of it. But I really think it's
actually, you know what? I'm going to start doing that then, because that's a good practice. Yeah,
that's what I do. I'm just kidding. No, well, anyways, but I think that if your gym does this, and maybe you may be guilty of it, you're listening. You may mean no disrespect by putting your stuff away,
but you've never thought about it.
Never thought about it. Try it and watch what happens. It's going to bring your community even closer, because now the respect is going to be shown out of I don't know, by you not putting stuff away, it is me showing you respect that I do care about you and your workout, and it's not about me and my workout.
Along with that mindfulness piece, if you're at a smaller gym, or depending on how your gym's set up, sometimes space can be at a premium. So, kind of use the space that you need, not the space that you want. Because if you got stuff laid out everywhere, you got your shaker bottle over here, your belt over there, you got a barbell here and a kettlebell there, it might cause someone else to not have nearly as much space, and then it can become a safety issue. So just being mindful of that. Another thing from the weightlifting world, or that side of the house, if someone's setting up to do, really heavy lift or trying to set a new PR, be mindful of their line of sight. Don't just walk in front of them, or, off to the side chatting, checking your Instagram and all that stuff. That's something I had to learn the hard way. And it wasn't out of being disrespectful. I just didn't know. I didn't understand the culture. I was never in a weightlifting centric gym before. And when I did it, someone came in, hey, dude, just if you could not walk in front of me while I'm trying. I was like, oh, I am sorry. I did not know that.
I don't know. I get why people do that, but it's also the same thing. Like, golfers, like, oh my God, you're talking about backswing. Bro, I play golf. You can talk all you want, okay? And I can still hit it really far and straight most of the time. And I don't get it. We had a couple people, and actually just happened recently with one of our guys, and missed a lift and tried to blame me because someone was too close to them. Mm-hmm. So what do? I get as close as I can to them. Like, you ain't going to blame this on nothing. This is your fault. I'm going to tell you 5 things you did wrong. That's why it ain't because someone was too close.
Versus the one external factor.
Come on, man. Like, you can stand in front of me all day as long as you're not like
doing jumping jacks.
I don't even care about that. If you're not face to face with me and where I'm worried about the bar, hitting you with the bar, whatever. It's blame it on your technique. Don't blame it on someone else. But I get what Mo's saying.
Yeah. The next piece, be respectful. We touched on that a little bit already, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, but don't interrupt the class. Be quiet.
What do you mean by that?
So be quiet when it's time to be quiet. Especially, so let's take the whiteboard, for instance.
Right.
Let the coach speak. Don't, have sidebar conversations, because that is indeed coaching at the whiteboard.
100%.
You're helping people scale. You're getting people to think about options, getting to think about their numbers and percentages, maybe even thinking of some alternative movements if they're injured. Another thing about interrupting class is I even heard it on Stu's podcast, WTF Gym Talk, where he was saying that a client had called him and was saying he went for a visit and he was checking out his gym, and some guy just came and walked in the middle of the workout while the coach is trying to talk to people, just, being disruptive, over making all kinds of loud noises while he's doing his strength workout, and just being obnoxious about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't fly. I think if you're talking while the coach is talking at the whiteboard, you most likely need the most help, in my opinion. I'm being serious. Where I've seen it happen, it doesn't happen here, and it's not because they know I'll get pissed, and our coaches don't appreciate it, but when it's
because I hate repeating myself.
Well, not only that, but you lose train of thought or what you're trying to get to. But when people do that, it's just another disrespect thing. It's not even about them, and it's not about me anymore. Now it's about
the other athletes.
It's about the other members. That's what I care about. Like, you want to talk smack to me, run your mouth to me, that's fine. When you start including my members or hurting them, now we're on a whole nother level of what you don't do. And no more the damn watches.
Apple Watches.
So it's so funny.
Ever since you mentioned that,
Bro.
I've been paying attention, and I haven't noticed anybody do it yet. But
probably because they listen to the podcast, they're going to lose a limb. I come in the next day, and Jamie, she was notoriously doing that, and she's like, I ain't. I'm setting my heart rate or whatever. I'm like, you better be not checking your email, whatever. But she knew, you can walk past someone and you can make eye contact. You know exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
That was that. She knew that I was calling her out, but I didn't say her name. But now I can say her name because she said that she knew I was calling her out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's funny.
It was.
part of the respect thing and talking about the culture and all inclusive, not just yourself, not the coaches, but all the other members, is keeping the gym clean. If you see trash, pick it up. It's your second home. Take care of it.
Put the toilet paper's out. Put another roll on there. Yeah, I just seen it happen today. I walk in, the light is on, and the toilet
And there's
paper.
no toilet paper.
I'm like, bro, we always have a toilet paper in there. If you don't, let us know, or at least take the little thing out so I know there's no toilet paper so we can go get some.
Yeah, walking into a gym. Back in the day when we first started, it was all about being grindy, or it was all about being grimy and real minimal and real rough. But that kind of has turned where aesthetics matter now. And if you have a prospective client that's never been to CrossFit gym and they're used to like the Globo gym setting, and they walk in and there's like, dust bunnies on the floor, trash kind of strewn about, just, bathrooms are dirty. It's going to send a message to them because they're probably going to take their money somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We're clean as we can be here. Mm-hmm. Could we be cleaner? Probably, but that's anywhere.
But I know you've been to some dirty gyms because I've been to some dirty gyms.
But it doesn't. How we started CrossFit earlier, but I really don't care.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I care about the culture.
I'm in the military. Come on, I've seen some really dirty bathrooms.
But I get it. I think a big pet peeve of mine is if I do burpee or whatever, and I'm on someone's floor and I do two and I'm completely black, or there's tons of dog hair.
Yeah.
I love dogs, but to have dog hair on the floor or on your mats where people are working out, things like that, I would say control the stuff that's easy.
Yeah.
Trash, sweeping, mopping, toilet paper. Make sure your bathrooms are clean. It's pretty simple. If you just take 30 seconds, you can clean a bathroom. If you do the small things, that's pretty big.
That goes a long way.
Then you can tighten up the ship on all the other stuff.
And cleaning up yourself after the workout. Don't just leave your, walk out, leave plates lying around. If you got change plates or whatever, you put up your bar, but just leave everything else. Just put it up. You brought it out. You used it. Do right. Don't make someone else put it up for you.
Yeah, this ain't no Globo gym.
Be polite, please and thank you. Those always go a long way. And accountability. Show up on time. If you're not going to be on time, make sure the coach knows, or, but don't just show up 30 minutes into the workout and expect to just jump right in. That's just, it throws the coach off. Just, it goes back to that being polite thing with the rest of the class. Know your numbers. I know you guys do it and we do it as well, but we do a lot of percentage-based strength work. And if you've been coming to the gym for 2 or 3 years, and we use a commercial product that tracks all your data, and what the workouts are the day before, do a little bit of homework, or when you show up, just kind of pop it, look at your numbers and see what they are. I shouldn't have to, as a coach, probe you to go get your numbers because we're doing some kind of percentage-based strength.
Yeah, I think that's on the members, but I think it's also on the coaches too, and the owners. I don't know. I get it. We get the drop-ins we get here. I would say, 80% of them don't know their numbers. Mm-hmm. None of them. They don't know their numbers. And we talk why. It's we only max out every, 5 months. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Now I can understand what happens if you miss that max out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Now you're talking, it could be 10 months before you do. Now your stuff's a year old. Is that really your max? And that's what I run into. Is I don't remember last time we maxed that out. I'm well, that sucks. You're going to find it today.
Yeah. We're going to figure it out. Listening when it's time to listen, like we said at the whiteboard. Just, hold your conversation for a few minutes. Give everybody else the chance to listen. Letting the coach know when you're injured.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
To me, that's a big one. A lot of times our athletes in this type of environment, we're tough. We're used to pushing through discomfort, but making them understand not to push through pain. That's not something we want to do, because we might just exacerbate the condition, just make things worse.
Yeah, we always had a saying when I was in jiu-jitsu, because you can easily get hurt in that, especially if you get someone who's stubborn and doesn't want to submit or tap out. And I'm not saying you give up easy subs or anything, but you know, if your training partner gets hurt, who you going to train with? And that was the thing, is like, so if I could push a submission even harder and they're just being stubborn, like, I really don't care. Like, what if I push it too hard and then they get hurt? Now, who am I going to roll with? I can't roll with myself. Yeah. And that's kind of what it is in CrossFit. If you're fighting or in a fight, it's totally different. Like, I'm going to break your arm, Rob. There's no submitting. Like, I'm going to choke you out or I'm going to break your arm.
Nap, tap, or snap.
Right. And especially when you see the videos after someone they tap out in a street fight and they want to fight again. I'm like, I just beat you. The next time, you know what happens? They get knocked out. Like, or if you're training in the gym, you know, one day of training is not worth sacrificing 2 weeks of training. So if you,
as a result of an injury,
right? So if something is feeling really weird and you got 10 minutes left in your workout, like, just wrap it up. Like, we've done the modification. Maybe you're already on a modification or modifications because of it. Hey, I just want to say, hey, look, let's just call it a day. Let's spend the rest of the time trying to get this thing to, you know, loosened up, because your one day is not worth 2 weeks of not working out.
And a good example the other day, one of my athletes, I just heard her say, ouch. And I said, stop. And she's like, no, I'm good. I was like, no, stop. Put the bar down. And I physically made her walk away from her little workout area. What's going on? Oh, I'm just a little uncomfortable, you know, blah, blah. Okay, well, cool. Go get some water. Wait a minute, and then you can get back in. No, I can go. No. You said ouch.
Yeah, right.
That's enough for you to stop.
Yeah, or you're like, so what's going on? My shoulder. I say, is it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. All right, well, you're done doing that movement. No, it's okay.
No, it isn't.
You just said it hurts. Too late. It's over. Like, we're no longer going overhead. So that's what's happening. And then they always try to go back. No, I was just saying that it was uncomfortable. No, sorry, I can't. There's no way I'm going to let you continue something after you say it hurt. Like, then I'm a dick. Like, a bigger dick.
And then, and also being mindful of wherever you're listening to this at and whatever climate you're working out at. You know, if it's hot, stay hydrated. You know, if you're one of those people that works out in the afternoon, making sure you get hydrated once it gets hot and humid wherever you're at, or, you know, making sure you drink plenty of water before you go to bed, because heat stress injuries, you know, those suck.
Hey, don't start your hydration at 5:30 p.m. when you're
for
working
a 6 o'clock class.
You got to start that the day before. It just, you got to get that water going a full day before, and then the whole next day. Yeah, it helps your trainers when you stay hydrated so you don't collapse and we think you're like dead. Yeah,
no bueno. So as an owner, do you have any other things that you expect out of your members? Because like we said, as the owner, you should be the one establishing the culture. What other things do you expect out of your athletes to help maintain that culture?
Yeah, so when members join our gym, day one, we sit down with them. We go through a checklist of stuff like what to expect after starting CrossFit, how your body's going to feel, how would log workouts, blah, blah, blah. But the big things that we cover is expectations of members, their accountability, and standard of movement. Accountability is, we say, you know, if you're in the corner, which a lot of new members go to the corners, and you're working out and these you have to do 100 reps of something and you get to 85 and you want to stop, you don't count those reps. That's accountability. No one's watching you. Sometimes we do, but no one's watching you or counting your reps, but have enough accountability to do what was prescribed, which is 100 reps, no matter how much it sucks. Standard of movement, if we're doing wall balls and we say the standard and you're able to achieve the standard and the ball's to fully go above the line, if it doesn't fully go above the line, don't count it. It goes right back into accountability. The next thing we talk about is bad attitudes. Leave your bad attitude and drama at the door, your baggage at the door when you walk in. We found that...
Because it's supposed to be the best hour of your day.
Right. And we found that if you talk about stuff, it doesn't happen, right? If you talk about the drama, that's not welcome, it doesn't happen because now people know it's not welcome. And we say, leave your baggage and drama at the door. And that's myself included in all of our trainers. We all have bad days. It could be work, relationship, whatever, job. Just we have horrible days. And if we allowed everybody to bring that in here, it's going to bring down our atmosphere. Then if our atmosphere is down, we talked about, that should be, that's our number one thing. If our atmosphere is down, no one wants to be here and work out, and that ruins everything. And like saying just the other day, we had it happen with one of our women. She's just down and just got a lot going on. You can see it. It's all over her
Life
face.
is happening. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, look, I get it. It sucks, but make this hour about you. This is about you. That stuff will be there when you're done. Trust me. I deal with it every day. Like I know my drama is at the door waiting on me as soon as I leave this gym at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, whatever. And I get 30 minutes to think about it on my way home.
Yeah.
And then, so I get to deal with my own stuff. So you got to leave it at the door. And then last but not least, clicks. We do not allow clicks in here. And it's just one of those things like, it used to be like a taboo to talk about a click in a gym. Well, guess what? They happen. And they still happen. And they're still all over. We don't allow it here. We tell people if they start to separate themselves from the majority, we'll talk to them. They do it again. They're kicked out. We will never, ever, ever have a gym that's up and running that has if we have bad attitudes and clicks, we have told all of our members countless times, we will shut the gym down. I don't care if we have the most prosperous gym. If it turns to that and it ruins the atmosphere and we're a cliquey gym with bad attitudes, I'll walk away and everybody else can stay. I won't, you know me, like.
But I think in doing so and putting that out there, it puts the responsibility on the community to make sure that to uphold those things that those standards you've set forward.
Yeah. And I think that's what's great is we'll circle all the way back to the beginning of this podcast is ownership sets the standards and the vibe of the gym. Okay. And then what I have always said in emails that I sent out at 3 a.m. is that I also say how much and we appreciate and thank them for it may have been our idea of the direction, but they are the heartbeat of our gym. Okay. That's just the reality of it. They keep the things going. They keep things in order and we have a self-filtration system in our members. They know they don't want anybody to come into our gym and join if they have a bad attitude or cliquey or dramatic. Like they're going to be filtered out. If I miss it, which I rarely miss things like that. If I miss it, my members will filter them right out.
Self-correcting.
Yeah. They're either going to get on board and go in the same direction as we are as a gym, or they're out. Like they won't feel welcome. I mean, that's how I want it. I mean, I'll take slow growth and have a
solid community.
With a huge nucleus of people that truly believe in what our gym represents.
That are members for life, like you always say.
They still are. And over 150 members where, 25% of them just don't care. Right? I mean, that's just how it is.
And that's the beauty about being an independent business owner, especially in this, within CrossFit, is that you can do whatever you want, to maintain the integrity of what it is you're trying to establish. And I think, as we've said before, that's something that Greg Glossman prides himself on with all of this. And
I think as an owner, and I'll speak this to other owners, I really don't care. If you're letting this stuff go in your gym, we talked about it, you are the guilty. You are guilty if you allow the dramatic click where you allow your members to talk at the whiteboard and show disrespect to your trainers. Because I'd tell you that's not something else that just irritates the heck out of me. Our last gym, before we came here and opened this, we'd be training. We're not the owners, but they would let the members disrespect us at the whiteboard and talk over us. Just the most ludicrous, absolute nasty stuff you can do and most disrespect. And they don't care. If you're an owner and you don't care and you let people do that to your trainers and you don't stick up for your trainers who bust their butt for you on a daily basis and you don't show them that respect that you got their back at all costs unless they're completely wrong, that you're at fault now. And I think that's unfortunately, you still see it and I still hear about it. You hear stuff and you can't allow that. And if you're a member and your owner allows that stuff, bro, like we've talked about, there's other gyms out there. And I'm not saying that I'm not here and say everybody needs to leave their stuff, but know this, you don't have to accept that anymore. And you know what is acceptable. And I think that's why our podcast has done so well, is that we've given members a voice that usually either A, they think they're crazy, which some have said to us. I think which is
cool, because I'm willing to listen to anybody.
Right. You know what I mean? And they felt they're crazy because they had these things they were thinking about that we talk about. They're like, holy crap. There's other people in this world? Like, what? Yeah. They have the same problems. And guess what? It's not acceptable and it's not right. And you do have options. If you're in a major city, you have probably 50 options. And go out there, find your gym. And you know what? That's on the owners.
Yeah, and again, like we were talking about options when Bro and I started, there were like single-digit options available to where I left town for 4 years, came back, and that's I think we're up to like 30 gyms within an hour radius or so. It's a lot more out there. So if you're not taking care of your athletes,
and I just seen a stat. What was it last year? About 3,500 CrossFit gyms closed.
It was that, I think, in the tag associated with that, there are more gyms closed than opened.
Possible.
Okay.
CrossFit's disputing those numbers, which they should.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, I would too.
But the reality is that if you don't have that burning passion and desire to truly impact people's lives, you're going to lose membership. The only way people survive when they do that is if they're in a thriving area and they've somehow discounted their prices. They do these new U's or these six-week challenges to compensate for the money lost because they're losing members. Like, that's cool. You want to do that and that's your type of gym, go ahead. But as soon as that doesn't work anymore, you're screwed because your nucleus is gone because you've neglected them. Like, and I think that's what we're seeing is either people was getting burnt out. They realize that it's
and that's a reality as well.
That's a total reality, and you have to be like pretty steadfast to accept the hard times that come with owning a gym. Matt, when we had him on here, him saying it's a tough business, and he's pretty successful in the business world. And that just shows you it's not easy, but I don't know. It sucks that many gyms close, but you don't want to close, then do your job.
Yeah. Take care of your people.
You take care of your people
and they'll take care
of your gym.
Yep.
I mean, it's just how it is.
And I think that's what we can sum this whole episode up.
Why don't we do this all the time? We could have summed this 50 minutes up in like one sentence. Like, we got to start practicing.
Nah, we're good.
By episode 2000 though, we got this.
So again, don't just rely on the owners to develop your culture. They're going to establish the direction, but it's up to you as a member of that culture to sustain it and uphold it. Protect what it is that you love in that second home. For this week's call to action, with it being the summer season, why don't you go ahead and send us photos of the comps that you're competing in? Rep your box, show us your shirts, show us the venues, just let us be part of what it is that you're celebrating this
Send
weekend.
those swelfies.
The swelfies.
Send them.
Use the jack filter like Brody uses.
It can't be mine. Like, I have to look. I have to save it because when I'm really out of shape, I can apply it and I look like I'm in okay shape.
And you need to sell that thing. You're gonna make millions.
No one will buy it, Mo.
Somebody will. All right, I'm Mo and I'm out.
Later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the One More Rep podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at One More Rep Podcast, or on Twitter at Can I Get One More, or shoot us an email at canigetonemore@gmail.com.
No, and I tell you another bad impression is when Jenna walks up, she pops her lats out and puffs her chest, and she's twice as big as the dude. I'm like, Jenna, why are you walking like that? No, I'm kidding. She doesn't do that. I don't know. Maybe she does.
Yeah.
Running on fumes today. I don't know if it's the weather. Like,
It's been hot, man.
Well, I pulled up, man. Today it's just totally sucked the life out of me. Just the way when you cook the
I got
air on for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sweating like a fat kid with a cake in front of him.
Oh, dude, cake sounds so good. Like I would eat.
I want that damn steak. Because I listened to.
Oh, why you that up, man? I just told you I was starving.
Yeah,
you was talking about my two favorite things:
cake and steak.
And they rhyme.
If anybody watched that video, tell us what you thought about that. Where that young lady ate that 72-ounce steak.
Right,
I can see it in my head. It was just such a nice cut. I put it in the show notes, so make sure you take a look at that. But yeah, that was a tasty looking
I just want to
steak.
figure how much that cost. DMX. Oh. Oh. Woo, woo.